Speaking of low backs, let's get started in our tabletop, and we'll begin with our hips. Still a little chilly here. I haven't abandoned my space heater yet, so if you've got a little something to help you stay warm, bring that nearby. Anything that you want to place under your knees for cushioning, bring that nearby. And if you happen to have yoga blocks, they always help you make postures more accessible, feel a little bit better. If you don't, you can gather textbooks, something with a hard cover of about equal size. You don't need those though, just if you have them, they're nice to gather up. All right, so let's come on into our tabletop position to start class today. And we're gonna warm up our wrists and our shoulders. So begin by tucking your toes and align your knees under your hips, hands under your shoulders. Rock your hips back towards your heels, stay a little while. Maybe move around through your backside a little bit and shift your weight side to side in your feet. And then scoot on forward, trying to bring shoulders just a little over the wrists and feel the sensation coming into your wrist joints. Let's breathe in as we move back. Breathe out as we move forward, remembering that movement side to side, around, in any of our shapes is always encouraged. So we're just going to connect with breath with movement here for a moment. I always like to get a little pulse, kind of like asking our muscles, will you let me in? Asking our joints and our areas that we're focusing on. Let me in. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Come back to stacked joints and start a little left and a little right. Feel the sensation of heaviness spreading from your pinky fingers into your thumbs and over to your other pinky finger. And if you'd like to, you can flip your palm to face the sky on either hand. We'll do one at a time, getting a little different sensation as that weight shifts. Feeling free not to stay within any box or boundaries of any kind. So if you'd rather move around in a diagonal, a circle, or a square, go for it. Flip that other palm over if you took the option on the first side. And we're focusing on right to left just to bring some movement in. But again, if it feels good to pull back, just try to keep the back of that wrist on the ground there. One more big breath cycle. Okay, let's flatten out both palms again and exhale, rolling ourselves up into angry cat. Take a peek up towards your navel. Let your navel drop to the floor, pull shoulders down, lift the top of your head and your tail. Cow pose. Exhale, funny story, yogis, find your angry cat. Inhale, come into your cow. Keep going. So this morning as I was driving to our local yoga studio to teach a class, I had some farm town rush hour traffic. I literally drove up around the corner onto a giant cow in the middle of the road. That's in Woodstown, New Jersey. I have not seen that before in my life, but I thought it was so cute. And I ended up having to call the state police and ask them to come out because the local police were like, not our problem. So speaking of cows, I had a little encounter with my own today. One more big round. Exhale. Inhale. And then find a cat and hold, yogis. And you can just stay still. But I encourage you to move your ribs side to side. Move your tail side to side. Maybe drop your head and let your ears fall towards your shoulders. Just wiggle around into your back. Just spread open some places that may have been tight and closed off. Try that in your cow. Let your navel fall. Lift the crown of your head and your tail. Drop your shoulders from your earlobes. And then just do a little bit of movement to be more exploratory. I like to try to think about opening my ribs away from my hips, lifting armpits away from ribs. And we're going to flatten out when you're ready. Taking your right foot forward, step it between your thumbs. And we're going to rock a little forward. Let the hips get drippy. Notice I'm sinking down, up, to begin to tug on that front left hip flexor. Just a soft invitation to lengthen. Take your eye gaze down towards your right toes, lengthening the back of your neck here. And when you get ready, lift up strong through the arms, pulling your knees to 90 degrees. So we came from our drippy hips into a really strong stacked hip. Holding on to your left wrist, Tip up and over to the right side. Really nice way to increase the length, helping our low back feel less tight. Big breath in. Reach off to the right diagonal so you can pull into your lower left back. One more big breath. Inhale, arms rise, fingers fall right under your shoulders, and then shift your hips back, straightening your right leg, lifting your right toes, replugging your right toes, moving a little bit through that ankle lift and lower. Hips can be in space or they can be really close to your left heel. We're just stretching into front hamstring. One more round here, big breath in and out. Shift back into your low lunge. Knees side by side, one exhalation into an angry cat. Inhalation into your cow posture. Flat back, feet step up, left foot right between your thumbs. If it needs a little guidance, grab your ankle and help it underneath your knee. Let your hips get gooey. Let them sink down. Maybe move side to side to invite more space in. Take a chin tuck here, lengthen the back of your neck, and when you're ready, climb up to your 90-degree knees. So you may have to close the distance between front foot and back knee. Rise all the way up here, feeling that stretch coming into your right side. Inhale, arms high, hold right wrist, and tip over to the left side. Now, while you're here, do you see how you can't see the space between my earlobes and shoulders? Are you able to release your shoulders? Still tugging and leaning, but less tension in our necks this way. Reach off to the front left corner, moving into your lower right back, and take a big, beautiful breath in. Inhale all the way back to the sky. Exhale into our low hips and shift your hips straight back. Lifting through your left toes, soften your left knee. Repress down through your left toes. Relift. Think about moving into your ankle. Might get a couple cracks and snaps. Breathe in. That's nice. It's just there are things adjusting, space being created. One more big breath in. And out. Shift back forward. Re-find your tabletop. And we're moving into our core. Tuck all 10 toes. Let's lift our knees to hovering tabletop. While you're here, yogis, can you lift your left fingers to just the tips, from the palm to tented fingertips? That's tough. Moving into your core a little bit deeper. Palm presses back down. Lift to your right fingertips. Make a little tent there. Stay just an inch or two above the ground with your right knees. Replace. Everything comes down. Toes untucked. We stretch long in child's pose. Any types of forward folding are really good for stretching out our low back. So we'll do a lot of folds today. If you feel unsupported in your stomach, close your knees. Let your stomach rest on your thighs. If you need more space, open them. Let your belly sink in between. One more big breath in. Upon exhalation, lift out of child's, tuck your toes, hips rise, but knees will stay pretty bent so we can really lengthen our spine here. See if you can push your sits bones away from your shoulder heads. One more big breath in, down dog with bent knees, and as you exhale, straighten your knees to whatever you enjoy the most. Let's begin a little pedal of our knees, alternating bends and straightens. Now, as you go through this, let's look under your armpits. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Just a little peek this way and then a peek that way. Stretching out the back of your neck. Try one more each way. If you're prone to dizziness, you might feel a little discombobulated. So take your eyes back to your toes or your navel. Steady yourself in stillness for a moment. Big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, roll forward, yogis, plank position. Now, if this is your first bit of movement for today and your low back is feeling cranky, I would recommend you drop your knees. If you feel really supported in your core, stay lifted. If you squeeze your buns, you'll feel a little bit more support. Take a big breath in and then tuck your chin to your chest as you exhale. Push your hands into the ground and round your back into angry cat plank. Tuck your tailbone down towards your heel. Squeeze your buns for 3 seconds. Rounding into your back, 2 seconds. And one, flatten everything back out. Everyone drop to knees. Bring your heart through the upper arm window and slowly fall into chaturanga. All the way to the earth. Wipe your toes or walk them back. It feels nice to wipe. If you tuck your toes under and then you just stretch them back. Listen, my mat's really squeaky. Listen. I don't know if you could hear that, but mine always squeaks when I wipe them, so I tend to step. But wiping can be a great stretch for the bottom of your toes. Let's bring our tented fingertips outside our shoulders. See if that feels good for you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Chin tucks to chest, long neck, and we're gonna exhale, push out of the finger pads to lift into a baby cobra. That's really tough for you. Keep your palms down. Bend your baby toes really wide, spread them wide, and press down through all 5 toenails. Feel your back of knees activate. Maybe your knees and thighs lifted. Well done. One more breath. Exhale, release. Reach your right arm overhead and hover your left goalpost. We're going to take that elbow back towards our buns, lifting our right toes off the mat. Take a big squeeze of that left shoulder blade back towards your spine, extending your right toes. Switch, yogis. Left arm's overhead flat. Right arm goalpost hovering. Pull that right elbow back towards your spine. Lift your left toes. Take another big breath in. Push toes away. Squeeze right shoulder blade back. Both arms reach overhead. Hover both hands. Hover both sets of feet. Both feet. Only one set of feet. Bring both hands into goalpost. Take a little seesaw tip. Right arm falls. Left arm looks out under. Left arm falls. Look out under that right arm. Let's keep seesawing. Breathe in one way. Breathe out the other way, rocking through the low back. If it's too tough with toes lifted, place them back gently on the earth. Spread them wide left to right for more space in your low back. One more each way. Breathe in. Breathe out. Back to the center. Everything releases to the earth. Let your hips jiggle side to side. You can turn your eyes to one side and rest your head. Keep shaking through your hips, loosening your low back. If you looked one way, look the other way with your eyes. And when you feel ready, eyes to floor, press back, hands under shoulders, hips are still, child's pose to downward facing dog. Lift your hips really high. Take a little step forward, one footprint each way, and then widen your feet out to the sides, the very edges of your mat. Let's take a little twist here. Bend your left knee, right hand under belly. Try to hold your left leg somewhere. I like to grab right under the heel, and then as you straighten your leg, you'll feel an amazing twist coming into your low back and the bottom of your right shoulder blade. We're going to breathe into wherever sensation arises today. Peek out under your left armpit for a really big twist. Eye gaze back to center. Rebend left knee to release hands. Both are flat and your heels fall heavy. Try the other side, yogis. Left hand reaches under your body. Bend your right knee so it's easily accessible. And then we're going to grab somewhere. When you feel good, re-straighten your leg just a little or a lot and twist around your low back. Eye gaze outside of your right armpit. Try to soften your face here. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, rebend your right knee, untwist. Eye gaze looks to thumbs. Let's take that upward walk, straight legs, thighs pulling up into hips all the way forward into forward fold. And from here, we'll swivel. Hold on to opposite biceps or elbows. Drop your chin so your head hangs heavy. And take a bent knee, swivel around to your right heel. Swivel to your left heel. If the swiveling is too much, you can tick-tock straight to the right and straight to the left. But I recommend trying to do this as you rise. It can be really nice. And whenever you feel a spot that you're like, oh, that is tight, just stay there. There's no rush. Stay and work out some of that tension. When you're ready, keep rolling. Rolling until you're finally standing. That's so nice. Big breath in. We're gonna re-roll just the way we came. Let's take hands to heart center this time. Tuck your chin and just fall down like a little rag doll. You can sway side to side if it feels good. From here, yogis, halfway lift, flat back now. Top of head far away from tailbone, shoulders far from earlobes. Inhale, long. Exhale, releasing to forward fold. Right leg takes a big step back, and we're gonna twist around the low back again. You decide if your right knee is down or up. Left arm will rise, a big twist. Open your heart skyward. Release down, left hand outside your left pinky toe. Strong squeeze through the inner thighs. Open your right arm. Don't topple backwards. Squeeze your inner thighs. It's okay if you did. Sometimes that's fun to topple over. Release. Straightening through your left leg. You decide whether your toes are pointed or not. Take a little sway in your hips to feel the stretch left to right. Move your hands under your shoulders so you feel very supported. And just enjoy this wide pyramid for a moment. Back heel lifted. You can pulse if it feels good. When you're ready, yogis, rebend your left knee. Replace hands framing the left foot and push back either through table, child's, and then dog, or straight up to your downward facing dog. Big breath in, heels rise. Full breath out, heels melt. Inhale, this time heels rise and we roll into our plank. Exhale, knees or nut, chaturanga. Reaching all the way overhead again. Thumbs up this time, palms face in. Let's lift our toes, knees, and thighs and curl our heels in towards our buttons. Now, this is really compressing for your low back. Widen your knees left to right. We're going to squeeze into our hamstrings. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, curl. Adding on those goalpost arms as we curl. Pull the shoulder blades back towards your spine. Press forward as your legs extend. If you're getting a click or a pain in your knee, point or flex, whatever is the opposite from what you're doing in your foot right now. Let's try 2 more. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze, hold for just a moment. Chin is tucked, back is really long, top of head from tail. Release. Press back, downward facing dog. You know you can make pit stops. I encourage you to stop and enjoy the view. Big breath in, heels rise. Heels melt down. Right leg rises, yogis, 3-legged dog. Heel bends towards your butt. Keep your down dog shape, but curl your knee in towards your nose. Keep your down dog shape. Big rounded back. Stretch into your low back. Look forward. Find your thumbs. Let's try to step there. If you get stuck, grab your ankle and just help it on through. Beautiful job. Take a moment to let your hips really settle here. Left hand down, right arm rises, big twisted lunge. How much can you shine your heart skywards? Right arm falls outside right pinky toe. This is a tough one. Squeeze your inner thighs. Left arm opens, twisting away from our thigh. Open twist. Release back down and slowly pull your hips skywards. Wide pyramid pose. Left heel is rising. You may like a little pulse back. Try to soften your right knee so it's always micro bent. And for more support, hands right under your shoulders. You can lift your right toes or not. You can move your hips side to side. That feels really good. Definitely try moving your hips side to side. You'll notice a big switch of sensation from your left to your right hamstring. Ooh, so good. Replant that front foot. Give yourself a little momentum and then rock yourself forward when you're ready. Forward fold, yogis. We're gonna hinge to rise this time. Bring your hands right into your hip crease where you're folded forward and lift up halfway. Another great way to do this is to hook your thumbs in that hip crease. You wanna take your thumbs and push back for lots of length. All right, once you're in there really well, take a breath in. Stamp your feet down and exhale, rise with that hinge. Flat back to the sky. Inhale, arms up. We're gonna hinge down again. Thumbs either hook or you just reach behind you. Halfway fold. Take a big breath in. Exhale, release. Flip to your forward fold. Halfway lift again, yogis, breathe in. As you breathe out, release. Left leg, long lunge back. Arms rise, we're trying to keep our back knee lifted. Both arms reach overhead, and we're gonna get a little tilt in our pelvis to really elongate your psoas. Remember, short psoas, tightness here, leads to pain here. So we're gonna try to lengthen. You can use your hands and manually adjust, tuck your tail, push forward. If you feel like you really have the hang of it, just tuck under with your tail, reach arms to sky, and you'll notice your back knee bends. That's great. Bend and tuck. Give yourself a release. If you'd like to stay, stay. Otherwise, we're gonna try 4 more bends and tucks. Keep going, yogis. I'm gonna try to stay. You're welcome to do this with your knee down, but you really need to try to tuck under. It's just a little tougher to tuck with the knee down. 1 more big breath. Excellent job. Rolling to warrior 2. Left blade edge is falling. Right knee is bending, and the arms fall somewhere effortlessly. So now you've worked really hard. You get to spread open. Can you look down to your right big toe? If you can't see it, move your knee out towards your baby toe. Create some openness into your right inner thigh. Take a big breath, looking towards your right fingers, and then sweep them skywards. Keep gazing at them. Unless your neck bothers you, then look right on down. 1 more breath in reverse warrior. Coming back to warrior 2. Straighten your right leg. Inhale again, following those right fingertips skywards, reverse triangle pose. Big breath in. Let's wiggle all the way down to the floor, triangle pose. Right fingertips are reaching towards the floor. How low you go depends on your comfort. Right knee micro bend. You can always take a little bit of a less intense option too, with hands near your heart or on your hips. Back to warrior 2. Rebend your right knee. Swivel back around the corner here. Frame your right foot, lift your left heel, and push back, downward facing dog. That was a big step, yogi, so if you need a moment, take it. Take a little wiggle, a lot of rejuvenating breaths. And then let's come together. Breathe in, roll into your plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Make space through the upper arm window. Open your heart through, then lower down. Fingertips come outside shoulders. Toes wipe or step back. Elevate toes, knees, and thighs. Hover hands. Do all the squeezing from your back body. Take a huge breath in. And on the breath out, re-squeeze, yogis. Squeeze shoulder blades. Squeeze buns. Squeeze inner thighs. Release. Push back to downward facing dog when you're ready. That back work doesn't ever seem to get super easy, does it? Always a challenge. Take a lift with your left leg, a huge breath in. Look where you'd like to land. Crunch your knee in towards your chest. And then hold that knee crunch, but push back into your downward dog shape. When you're ready, step your foot between your thumbs. Rise to high lunge is what I recommend. A little bit easier to tilt our pelvis to manipulate that psoas. So thinking about what we're doing here, pulling your right hip flexor forward, bending right knee, tucking tailbone under. Relax, just let it go. All right, let's try a couple more times. Tuck and press away, release. It's okay if it's hard for you. Take your hand and manually feel that tilt. Tuck your tail, pull up on the front of your hip flexor. And then for our last 4, if you're enjoying this motion, stay with it. If you'd rather tuck and hold, breathe through the entire thing. Lift from your ribs. Might get a little shaky in your back leg. That's okay. Newfound length and strength here. 2 more. 1 more inhalation, yogis. We move out as we exhale. Right blade edge of foot falls. We open our bodies to the side, warrior 2. Effortless landing in the arms. Lots of width. Peek down, look for your left big toe. Open knee to baby toe if you can't see it. Beautiful job. Let's find the left fingertips. Reach skywards with them. Keep lifting out of your back body as you reverse this warrior. Back to warrior two. Soft straighten in your left leg. Eyes to left fingertips. Reaching skyward. Big, beautiful breath in. Right back into our warrior two, and then drop the left fingertips, finding triangle pose. Think about cutting in with the left hip, out with the right hip. Find that hinge, and whatever arms that feel wonderful, express yourself. Big breath in. Full breath out. Let's transition as we do. Eyes fall, hands frame left foot. Right heel rises. Maybe a little rock forward and back, but let's step forward when you get ready. Forward fold. Stay for a moment, yogis. Let that strength fall out of your low back. A couple ways to deepen this forward fold here. We can hold on to our ankles and hug. You think about pulling the crown of your head down, or you can take your first two fingers, index and middle on each hand, loop them under your big toes, and then pull the crown of your head down as you step heavily into your toes. Try another big breath in here. You're welcome to bend your knees to any depth, accommodating your hamstrings here. As you exhale, let go of any looped toes or grasped ankles, and then find your favorite way to rise. Is it a roll? Is it a hinge? Do you need to pause somewhere and find a little extra love for your low back? All right, when you're ready, big breath in. Let's sink into the power of our glutes. Sit back in your chair pose. Always want to see those big toes, so we look down first. Can you give them a wiggle? Good job, yogis. Get light in your left heel. Lift your left toes. Little balancing act here. Extend your left leg forward. Rebend. Extend your left leg to the left side. It's okay if you're tapping the ground. Rebend. Stay in this chair, chest lifted, arms can be anywhere. Extend your left leg behind you. Rebend. Sit back in your chair. Okay, ready? Right heel rises. We're together on this. I've got you. Right foot rises. Breathe. Know that you are strong. Extend forward. Rebend. Extend to the side. Rebend. Stay lifted in your chest. Extend back behind you. Squeeze through the bottom of your right cheek. Rebend. Chair pose. Stand tall. Oh, that's the best. Clasp your hands behind your low back and shrug your shoulders down. Or you can roll them backwards. Does that feel good for you? It's a little awkward when your hands are clasped, but it'll feel great after all that overhead. Good job, yogis. We're going to move into balances, but let's stretch just a little into our necks first. Wrap hands, your clasped hands around your left side. And then think about sending your ear past your shoulder. So not just a drop. We're going to think about lifting and lengthening. Makes a big difference. So you're really long, always in the underside of any bend. Take another big breath in. You might like to drop your chin to your left collarbone. You might like to look to the sky. Full breath out, back to center. As you extend your knuckles behind you, reclasp your hands. So if you had your right thumb on top, just go the other way, or vice versa. Stretch far behind you and then wrap them around your right side. All right, so not a little drop. We're gonna lengthen, 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 then lean over with our neck. Finding space and lightness. Staying right here, or you can drop chin to right collarbone, chin skywards. Just a little moment of calm before we get our balances on today. Big breath in, and a nice breath out. Last inhalation, yogis. As you exhale, come back to center, stretch arms behind you, open them up as wide as you can, spread your fingers, and lift your left knee. All right, we're going leg extensions today. So Options galore. Toes can stay down the whole time. We extend forward, we activate the muscles, we think strong. Optionally, holding the whole time, anywhere that feels best for you. Or, look, Mom, no hands. So you choose. I also like the option of big toe hold. So your left fingers on this side would grip your left big toe, your first and your middle finger. But if you hold on with your fingers, you have to push your toe down so you don't hurt your toe, okay? Don't just pull it back, push your toe down. All right, let's do it, yogis. Extend forward. Steady and calm. Squeezing through your left quadricep, the top of your thigh, especially if you're not holding on with your fingers. Rebend or keep it straight and sweep it to your left side. All right, so many options here, right? We can have hand inside or outside the leg. We can have legs still bent. We can have toes on floor. If you have a hold of your toes, you're hinging forward with me. We're gonna try halfway fold, side leg extension. Try to breathe, hang out wherever you are. Exhale, re-rise, and come back into the center. Arms rise overhead, hold for one breath with no hands. Rebend your left leg, and then clasp your knee like a basket. Weave your fingers, hug it. Okay, a great way to stretch the psoas, you stay forward. We're gonna take this left knee and lean back with it. So shrug your shoulders down again. Lift your heart, and then try to lean back, carrying your left knee with you. You feel sensation, hopefully, in the front of your right hip flexor. Really tough with balance, I know, yogis. So you have walls and furniture near you, right? You can always hold on with your left hand and find support with your right hand against something. Back to center, slowly release. Oh, there's a little fire in your right calf, yes? Shake it out. Oh, that's normal. Right leg, standing leg works hard. Shake free. Let it go with a big open mouth. Take as much time as you need. That was really tough. When you're ready, right knee rises. Do you want to hold it? You can. Anywhere is good. We're going for leg extension, so don't hold the knee. Just hold underneath the thigh with one or two hands. Or anybody ready for the peace finger? Big toe hold. Okay, stay bent or straighten. If you're not using hands, I want you to think about squeezing like crazy through your right quad, the front of your thigh. Sweep leg to the right side. You're welcome to rebend, then re-straighten or stay bent the whole time. Now, only if you have big toe hold, it's gonna be super hard otherwise. Are you gonna try to halfway fold? I guess you could try it with no hold. It's just gonna be extra, extra hard to hold your leg out there. We have a little bit of a crutch when we're holding on to our toes. Re-rise, yogis. Sweep it back forward. And see if for one breath you can hold with no hands wherever you are. Rebend your right knee. Make a basket, but whatever you habitually do, which index is on top? Switch it. Feels a little weird, right? Hug onto the front of your right knee and then relax your shoulders. Might need to shrug them, roll them, try to get them down from your earlobes. All right, let's lean back, my friends. Take your right knee with you. We're attempting to find sensation into the front of our left hips. We're gonna go for one more big breath in. Try to focus your eye gaze, your dristi, we call it in Sanskrit, on something still and unmoving. Soften in your face and your neck as you slowly come forward. Release slowly as you can. And oh, get rid of that left fire. Little bonfire started to creep up that leg, right? Whew. It's hard to get rid of it. So take as much time as you need. Maybe roll your toes over. Keep shaking. You might like to circle into your leg. When you feel great, you spread your arms wide. Step your feet a little wider. And then turn your right toes just about 45 degrees out to the side. We're gonna lean off into that right foot so you feel like your knee is right over the middle of your foot. Lean off and lift your left leg, star pose. From here, left hand reaches down to hold top a foot from the outside, little quad stretch. Press your right fingers away, kick your left kneecap away, really opening wide. If you're not able to reach your foot, keep reaching for it, or stay in your star pose. One more big breath in. Re-stretch back out into regular star if you had your quads stretch. And then come back to standing. Keep the arms up, right toes turn forward, left toes turn out, maybe just 15 degrees or so. Tip on over, find your star pose, two long, beautiful lines of balance, but we're creating width and length every time we breathe. Right heel to buttons, holding top of foot from the outside. How much can you stretch your left fingers and your right kneecap from one another? Breathing and lengthening. Finding a whimsical side to our practice. If we tumble, we just make it a part of our yoga dance. Back to star for one big beautiful breath in. Back to the floor, standing strong. Well done, yogis. Release your shoulders. Take a big breath in and fall into forward fold upon exhaling. Take a huge release down here. All that balance can really move into our low back. So let's draw our navels in towards our spine for lots of support and see if we can fold a bit more deeply. One more big breath in. Coming back down to our tabletop here, and we're gonna move into a hare pose, but hare, think like the rabbit, not your head hair, H-A-R-E. It's called hare pose, don't ask me why. We're gonna take our hands towards our heels. Try to grab the outside of your heels. Toes tucked or untucked. I like mine to be untucked. And then we're walking our nose as close to our knees as possible. Great low back stretch here, yogis. Head is barely touching the ground. It may even float a little bit, but we're on the very tip top of our heads. As you exhale next time, round your back to the sky. As you hang on to your heels, you're gonna create this round shape, really opening into your back body, breathing in and breathing out. One more big inhalation. Not a lot of weight in our head. Really important to protect our neck in this hare pose. As you release, hips back towards your heels. Rise to stand on your shins and take a huge lift up and overhead. Hands to your hips. Or you can take your fists into your low back. Thumbs facing up. If you do that, pull your elbows in. Otherwise, hands to hips. We're staying really long. Not a back bend here, just a really long hinge. Let's hinge back a couple of inches, starting to feel that tug in our quads again. Stay looking up towards that part where your ceiling and your sidewall meet, that little crease along in our necks. Can you hinge back one more inch? Stay here, breathe into that heat in your thighs. All the way back up on your exhalation. Arms as overhead as you enjoy them. I like to put one palm on top of the other. Hinge your hips back to hover over your heels, and we're coming into hovering child's pose. Really good on the core. We're gonna work our core in a moment here to build up the strength in our low back so we can sit tall and confident in our working posture. One more big breath in. Release palms, sit heavy in child's pose. Tuck your toes, yogis, lift your hips really high, and give yourself an alternating knee bend and straighten to wiggle yourself free of tension. Downward facing dog. All right, let's move into a little pigeon today. We're gonna take a big breath with our left leg. Inhale, rise. You decide where you wanna go with that leg, where your hips are, where your eye gaze is. Just feel good. Look forward. Crunch your nose into your knee. Keep that down dog shape. And then draw forward. Left knee towards left wrist. Left heel towards right wrist. However you enjoy setting up for pigeon. Right leg could be straight, or the right leg can be bent. When you get here, squeeze your front knee to your back knee. So see how my hips are really low? I've kind of plopped in. This feels nice. We'll come back, don't worry. You're gonna unplop. Ready? Squeeze. All I did there was squeeze my inner thigh, squeeze my knees together. Get as light as you can on your hands, and for 4 strong seconds, we're gonna hold this inner thigh squeeze. 2, and 1. Now you can release heavily, sitting into your pelvis or on your left cheek. Tumble forward, just fold down. Stretch out as far as you can, releasing into your back body. Some people like to cover one hand on top of the other and create a little pillow for their foreheads. That can be really nice. And completely optional, yogis, but we're gonna add a little quad stretch on here, especially if you couldn't get it earlier and sorry, I didn't want you to miss out altogether. So we're gonna rise up just a smidge, only if you're adding on. Reaching back with the right hand, bending right heel towards buns, and then if you're able to get a hold here of your foot, pull, heel towards your right cheek. We could be seated on the left cheek, down into the groin. You decide what feels nice. And wherever you're enjoying pigeon today, we're taking 2 more breaths in. Full exhalations, taking your time to enjoy and relax. Ever so slowly letting your right foot go if you captured it, and climbing yourself back up to seated on your left cheek so we can move right leg forward. We're gonna sit cross-legged, yogis. So bring it on forward, and you can either cross your shins, or if you like to stack your knees and ankles, lean back, see if you can make room to bring your right ankle on top of your left knee. So if you have some soft objects around, you're finding you're a bit spacious in your seat, you can pad up, and that way you feel supported, sitting deep here. Walk your sits bones back so you're super long through your outer thighs. And then today we simply fold. Breathe in, breathe out, come forward. If you can land on your forearms, you may consider turning your forearms up. And there's another nice way to massage our bodies. If you'd enjoy putting your forearm into your legs, that can be really nice. So if we're in the option I'm in with stacked heels and knees, it's a little harder. If you have your legs uncrossed, you can use both of your arms and kind of go side to side. Use your forearm or your elbow to press weight into your thigh, maybe down into your calf. But if you have your legs crossed, let's just use our right hands. Right elbow, right forearm. You can lean forward while you do it. So nice. Especially after that balance, it might be really nice to get into your calf. I'm using my elbow point there. Oh, there's a spot. You'll probably find one too, where you're like, oh, I needed that. Only want that elbow point where it feels really sticky or tight. Every other one, you're probably just gonna wanna use your forearm, and we're gonna avoid the bones. So we won't do our ankles, we won't do our knees, just our thighs and our calves. All right, yogis, I know that's nice. So if you wanna stay longer, please do. But when you're ready, we're gonna lean back again, just creating space here. We did lots of folds, so let's do the opposite and open. Untangling our legs exactly as we came in. Let's find our pigeon. We're gonna sweep the right leg behind us. You don't need to come to the full version. Just frame out your left knee so you can move into table and back to downward facing dog. Now that left leg that we had forward, let's re-lift that. Bend our heel towards our buns and fan our hip open. Might need a little bit of movement, a little lift and lower or circling of your left leg. Right now, we're in an open hip. If you'd like to stay here, please do. If you're familiar with flipping your dog, you can. That just means that we're gonna get light in our left fingers, heavy in our left foot. You can hover your flip dog, or you can drop your foot flat, your left foot, and stretch up and around for a nice big back opening. When you've had enough, come back down, left hands, eyes, and left feet. One more three-legged dog breath, and then we'll all find regular downward facing dog. Both feet, both hands, back to safety. Yogis, in your time, breathe your right leg high. Let's create that down dog crunch, knee towards nose. Looking towards your thumbs, where are you gonna land? Bring that right knee forward, sweep it to your right wrist, right heel towards left wrist, and we're settling in pigeon. You know that your left leg can be bent, right? Oh, that's so nice. Really feels big and supportive this way, I love it. Or you can extend your left leg. Get cozy, and then we're gonna work for a minute. So remembering that the squeeze is gonna help us really activate, and then we'll be able to relax more deeply. All right, let's get comfy. Squeeze your right knee towards your back knee, inner thighs scissor energetically together for 5. Squeeze, breathe, 2, and 1. Fold on forward. The goal whenever we're folding is to get really heavy in our upper body, releasing deeply into our lower halves. The heavier we can get up top, the more we can sink into our lower half. Think about becoming one with your flooring, just melting in, spreading out, and getting loose and supple. If you're looking to add your left quadricep stretch, we can climb back up. If you're really loving life, stay where you are. You don't need to add this in, but we can. Left heel to butt, left hand would be the reacher. You decide whether you're coming for inner arch, top of foot, outer arch. Just listen to your shoulder. What does it like best? And then whether you stay on your right cheek or roll back to your pelvis, you can think about pulling your left heel in towards your buns. And wherever you are, yogis, we're gonna try 2 more breaths in. 2 full, long exhalations. If you have your quad stretch, let's really slowly let that go. Sitting onto your right cheek and swinging your left leg around. It'll be either in the front, shins crossed, or if you'd like to have it placed on top of your right knee, just know that if your knees are really pokey because your hips are tight, support them. Put soft objects under. Hopefully they'll let you in. Move your sits bones back from your knees. I like to wiggle and crawl my hips back. You want space? Or you can really gently use your hands and remove that flesh that got stuck. So the best part, we're gonna use that left forearm. If you'd like, you can simply fold forward. Just relax. Palms can come up and you can sink heavily into your upper body. If you're crossed in modified half lotus, we're gonna just use the right forearm on your left forearm on your left thigh and your left calf. But you get the double bonus if you're in the shins crossed. You can rock side to side and massage on down. So good. Only if you have a really tight spot do you use your elbow. Otherwise, your forearm will definitely be enough. But usually you'll find something in your calf that you want to put that little bony part in and just move, massage, breathe. You can take long strokes with your forearm. I usually tend to just kind of push and release because it's pretty intense, right? Let's take just one more big breath in and out here. If you needed a moment to fold, please do. I'm going to avoid the ankle and the knee as you're moving your forearm or your elbow around. And then when you're ready to sit up, yogis, lean back for a second. We've done a ton of folding, so we just need to get open again in the front body. Press knees forward, open from pelvis all the way up to your throat. We're gonna swing back around like a record going round, just like we came in. Lean to the right, let your left leg swing back to your pigeon or your modified pigeon. Curl around the corner, and we wanna get that left leg on up. So, let me turn this way. Once you're in your downward facing dog, lift your right leg for a big breath in. It doesn't have to be a big lift, just let that leg be free. Heel can come towards your butt. You can fan your hip open. Think about like a hippopotamus yawn. It's so big. You can peek out under your armpits or just hang out here. If you know flip dog or you're wanting to try it today, you first want to get really light on your right fingers. Heavy into your right leg, but as slowly as you can. Drop your right foot behind you. You can stay hovering the whole time or drop it down. If you feel a little discombobulated, have a seat. Readjust yourself and then pop back up. Whenever you find it, just try to stretch your heart open. Squeeze through your backside to open your hips. And when you're ready to meet us back in three-legged dog, eyes down, right hand down. Right leg rises for that next inhalation. Both toes drop, full downward facing dog. Drop your knees, yogis. Have a seat on your buns, and we're taking the softest forward fold. Legs extend straight out from our hips. You might want to do that little wiggle back. Still moving sits bones away from heels, and then push your heels forward. Take a big lift, but we're so soft in our arms. A huge fall. Let your toes fall open. Let your body just hang heavy. A more yin style, soft style of yoga shape as opposed to our normal practice, which is the yang style. Soften into your jaw and your facial features. For those of you that have to get ready for a 2 p.m., it is 1:55. Gonna take another big breath in here, and then if you have to go, namaste. Thank you for joining me. If you're staying, we're gonna work on releasing our back by getting stronger in our front core. So we're gonna do a little bit of core work today. Take another relaxing breath. And when you're ready, yogis, let's roll to rise. Take your feet and flex them actively, and we're rolling all the way back. This is where our core begins. Activating core here to roll all the way back to lying without letting our heels rise. I know it's hard. It's okay. Mine will probably rise too, but that'll be our goal together. Stay strong. We got this. Stay strong, yogis. Okay, lie flat and stretch out. Be as long as you possibly can. Reach on overhead. Take yourself into a tiny electrified ball. Really squeeze in. Find so much energy and hug it into every cell in your body. Lots and lots and lots of energy. Release all of that. Let your head fall down. And then bring your knees over your hips. All right, we needed that energy hug because we're going to go strong here. Knees over hips. Heels flexed, feet flexed, and shins parallel to the ground. Reaching fingertips along our mat, either side of our bodies, palms face down and start to pump. Remember Pilates 100s? Okay, we're gonna pump our hands vigorously. Start to press away. Right foot straightens, rebend. Left leg, same thing, straighten and rebend. Uplift your upper body. Eyes are still looking at that seam between the ceiling and the wall so that we're not crunching into our neck. Neck is really open. And if this is feeling really good, we're gonna speed it up. So we're gonna push, pull, as fast as you wanna go. The more vigorously you pump your arms, the stronger you're gonna be in your Pilates 100s. If it's feeling too easy, my friends, together we try both legs. Just make sure that your low back is bent is flat the whole time. If it starts to bend and arch, we've gone a little too far with our legs. We can take them straight to the ceiling or straight to the floor. Let's try 8 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Just worry about your breath. 6 more breaths. I don't care how many Pilates 100s you do. 4 more breaths. Hang in, yogis. We got this. 2 more. Last one. Head and neck melt. Arms stop pumping. Let them fall heavily. And rock your knees all the way into your chest, rounding through your low back. Drop your knees almost off to the left. Just a little rock to the left side. Bring them back to the center. Almost off to the right. And then bring them back in. Just a bigger rock side to side here. All right, yogis, one more. And it's a super goofy one. We're going to go frog crunching. I love frog crunches. So come back into the center after you get that last roll to your right. And close the bottoms of your feet. Hold on to the tops of your feet or your ankles and crunch up. So you've got little frog legs here. But we're gonna take a karate chop, straight hands on either side of your feet. Reach your legs straight, arms straight overhead, back into your karate chop frog. Exhale as you karate chop. Inhale as arms and legs straighten simultaneously. Exhale, frog. Inhale, double leg stretch. Yogis, 8 more breaths. Does not matter how many you do, but I would recommend an exhale as you rise and an inhale as you extend. 6. Head and neck can rest on every double leg stretch. Keep them elevated for the final challenge. We have 3 shoulder blades lifted in your frogs. Toes pointed in your double leg. And 1. Extend and hold. Find that big ball of energy. Rock in, nose to knees. And then release again, head flat. Feet flat this time. Eyes look over your left shoulder. Take a big neck stretch. Eyes look over your right shoulder. Turn your eyes back to the ceiling, and whatever side is calling for you today, just roll to your side in the fetal position. Support your head for a moment. And whatever is your top hand, we're going to use it to roll back to the center. Around the corner for a seated position for a moment on your knees or on your buns. And then when you feel ready, roll around the corner. Maybe take a moment to find yourself all the way back in standing. Take a big breath up and overhead. Meet your palms overhead and draw them down through heart center. Soft shoulders, soft jaw, soft eye gaze towards fingertips as a beautiful, very important moment of gratitude. You took the time to honor your body, move as it needed, hopefully feeling better than when you started, gaining balance, flexibility, strength, coordination, but most importantly, a connection between your mind, body, and breath. Namaste, yogis. Thank you so much for joining me today.